This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Boobies. Boobies.
71,600, 5,600 minutes. I don't even know how that. But you know what I'm talking about.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments so dear.
Hi.
Hello and welcome to
Boobies.
Boobies. That's right. We're your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And today we're here to talk to you about a sequel.
A sequel.
A well-done sequel.
Yeah. A cash grab and a well-done sequel.
Cash
because
grab.
they pretty much only made this
Money.
movie because the first one made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, they could have left off the first one.
Yeah, well, and it was by what's his name, John Krasinski. He had no intentions of like sequeling it out or anything. It was just like, this is it. This is my love letter to my children, and that's it. Yeah, but then of course,
Love letter to my children.
I feel like yeah, it was really personal for him because like the whole movie was about the kids and stuff, and like that was But
he was saying, "I protect you in
I love
these
you.
sorts of times."
I've always loved you. Like is Wakanda forever. But yeah, he wasn't going to be a part of this one. And then, you know, he was kind of tapped to write something for it. Like, hey, we know you don't want to be a part of it. Can you like write it for us? And he was like, sure. And then in writing it, he was just like, well, I might as well direct it. So, yeah.
I might as well.
Which I get, because it's like, how can you create something that's kind of pretty much originally his idea and then be like, okay, you guys go ahead and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
It would be hard to. That's like watching
Sure.
someone take your baby and then raise it
differently from what you expected. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, A Quiet Place 2, you guys. It's got most of the same character. Well, yeah, all of the same characters from the first one who were the main ones. And then we've got an addition of Cillian Murphy, who's a leading role.
Yes, he plays Emmett.
And I think it was a fine addition, like a really good addition. He's obviously a really great actor. He's been in a lot of other, like, I want to say like horror, but thriller type of movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
most notably recently, Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, that's right. About the guy who created the atomic bomb.
Yep.
That's so sad. Anyways.
It is. So many people died.
And it's like at that point, which he understood, I feel like, because there's that famous line of like, what he created I don't know, but basically he was like, I regret this because now I see what I created as a monster. But yeah, it's wild because it's not only like decimating your target, it like is bad for the world.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
So stupid.
Okay, anyways, we digress.
They were stupid back then.
This is not a political podcast, but anyways, do you want to dive in, or do you have any facts or anything you want to throw in here before we go into it?
Not really.
Yeah, because I mean, it's
I throw in the facts at the end.
Yeah, and it's essentially Except for a flashback at the beginning. Pretty much we are segueing from the end of A Quiet Place 1 right into A Quiet Place 2. Literally like same like day after, like, you know, pretty much a straight continuation. Which I watched these back to back, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I could see how watching them back to back would be pretty cool. I definitely didn't do that. I mean, with the exception of like 2 days in between. So I still remembered a lot of things, but I didn't watch them like
back to back.
back.
Which is like, it kind of just makes it for one long, almost, you know, binge watch of your favorite show. But it was pretty good. But yeah, we open up on our same town from the first movie.
Yep, with quiet little shots over the town. And then I really like how in this scene it goes from having really nice quiet moments to then as you pass certain things and like especially once Lee gets out of the truck and stuff and we're passing the different businesses and convenience stores and diners and stuff, you can hear all the noise from it and then it just kind of fades out. And it was fun. And like when he passes the dog, you hear the little doggy. Yeah,
and it's a good juxtaposition from what we know from the first movie of like, oh man, we got to be quiet or we're dead. And you know that the town, they actually didn't film it in the same town. They had to recreate all those storefronts.
Wow, because it looked identical.
Identical, right?
They did a good job.
Yeah, and they had to recreate all of that.
Why couldn't they just film it in the same town?
I think permits and like timing, for some reason, it didn't allow them to go back there.
That sucks.
And so, yeah, they had to recreate it and like a whole town, like I think the same state, but I think like 90 miles or something like in a different direction.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. But then it really quickly we get our nice little same time marker of it saying day number 1.
Numero uno.
Ein.
I don't know any other language for one.
Hana.
Oh wait. That fridge. Un, dos, tres, trois, cinq, six, sept. That's, I think, as far as I can get.
In Japanese, I think it's each. That's one of the number ways you can say it.
Day 1, day fun.
Korean has 2 different number systems too.
Seems like a lot to learn.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. Why that's confusing?
Well, because there's like Korean numbers and then there's Chinese numbers. And there's like, so it's like when China
took over for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, got
China, Japan, all of that kind of. Yeah.
And then they tried to assimilate everybody to one way of doing things, and then they got beat out, and then it just kind of fucked everything up.
And now they use it for different things. So, like, you have one set of numbers if you're notating, like, if you're counting or, like, notating time, and then other ones if you're, like, saying for specific
5
things.
Of those.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's interesting. I never knew that.
It's confusing.
The more you know.
More you know.
This world is very confusing. And just like living in a confusing world, we are listening to the news. It's
in the same grocery store.
The same grocery
that
store.
They were in the first one.
And it's basically talking about some explosion happening. They don't really know what's happening. They don't know if it was like a terrorist attack or something like that. Or I don't know if that word was actually used, but something of the.
They said something like a bomb.
And of course, I love how Lee, like, they're all. You can tell small town vibes because he's just like, I'm gonna come back and pay for these later. I gotta go.
Yeah, when I was like, did he just take those groceries without paying for them?
He was just like, I gotta go.
He was like, I gotta go. Bye.
Because that old lady in front of him was like taking her time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was the old man's wife.
And she was like putting stuff on the counter. I felt like.
True.
So
I thought she was just organizing things.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But he had to go. He leaves. We see that. Oh, and I love how in that same little store we saw the rocket. Little Easter egg.
Past the rocket ship. We passed the pharmacy.
Honestly,
as well.
though, I don't know if we're so happy to see that rocket.
The rocket it's that, pretty like, sad.
Fucking doomed everything.
Gonna later kill his youngest son.
Essentially what it did.
Pretty sad.
Ugh. I'm never gonna look at a rocket the same.
Yeah.
All right.
All rockets bad. Outer space bad.
And we're heading to the baseball game because what's his name?
Marcus.
He's playing in a baseball game, and of course the
Yeah.
whole family's watching along with the whole town.
Yeah, it was quite the little event. Everyone was there. Everyone was there cheering all the little kids on. And this is where we get to meet Emmett for the first time. Because you don't get his name right then. But
you can tell he's a close family friend, though. They probably see him often.
Yeah, because they're just, kind of shooting the shit. Just talking about little things.
Maybe they know each other through the baseball games. Maybe this is it seemed kind of like championship game or something like that. So maybe they just all season long created this friendship. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
both their kids played on the team, stuff like that.
We also get a cute moment seeing kind of Reagan and her relationship with her dad at this moment, because you can tell they're pretty close, as opposed to how we saw what had happened in the the first one.
Yeah.
And she gets to teach Emmett the dive in ASL.
How to dive, which comes back in handy later.
Very much, yeah.
And I love how she was just like, your hands are disgusting. Please let me cut those. Get your hands off those oranges. No one wants to eat them if they've been touched by you.
Yeah, very much so.
It was so sassy, but in a nice, fun sassy.
True.
Not sassy like she's giving him shit.
Yeah. Well, if he's deciding to share those oranges, she's probably like, let me do that.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever we do get, the baseball game going on. We see the mom, Miss Evelyn, kind of mouthing and signing to Marcus because he's getting nervous. And I think even before that, we get that little interaction between Marcus and his little baby brother, the toddler, which kind of is like, oh, sad, you're about to die.
You're about to die in 89 days.
But yeah, it's all pretty much fun and games until shit kind of hits the fan, because as Marcus is striking out and then finally about to probably hit his home run, we get a fireball looking like a rocket or asteroid, something falling from the sky.
Yeah, this big asteroid coming in. Everyone, of course, stops and stares at it, and then they're all kind of silent, not moving, and they're like, "What are we looking at?" And then all of a sudden, everyone kind of starts scrambling
ants
to get up and go, and they're just like, "Okay, let's."
Everybody's like, "Let's go home."
Yeah,
yeah.
They're all saying, "Let's go home." All of their eyes are like peeled on it, though. The whole time they're just like watching it while like trying to move and maneuver their way out of this baseball game.
And so it's kind of a bit of chaos, and we have Ev leaving with the little her toddler and Marcus, and Reagan decides to go with Dad. Because he has to walk into the town on Main Street because that's where he had parked his truck.
Yep, has to go get his truck.
And so they're like, okay, got it. So they split up. We have Lee and Reagan on Main Street. They end up kind of bumping into Emmett, and I guess Emmett's brother is like in the military or some kind of, affiliation where he would maybe have some classified intel or maybe know what's going on. And so Lee is asking him, like, have you heard anything from your brother? And he's like, no, I haven't heard anything, but I'll give him a call. And they're kind of just like telling each other, like, be careful, be safe. And then we have them getting into, I guess, which would essentially be their like little Main Street downtown area.
Yeah.
And they're getting to the truck. And at this point, we're about to, get into the truck and leave. But there's a cop that pulls up behind them.
Lee almost gets ran over by a car, too, which was a good little jump scare.
Yeah.
Because it was like, God.
This is a close call.
Yeah, it was. And then, then that cop car's there. And so Lee decides to not get into his truck and then turns back and is like, hey, what the heck's going on? And then he's basically just saying, like, I don't really know. We've got fire, like the fire department and everyone out there checking to see where it landed. It landed over by someone's farm.
Yeah.
I didn't write that person's name down.
I didn't either.
Yeah, someone's farm, though. And also in this moment, like right as he got into the truck and then was getting out of it, they were just so many good long shots.
Yeah.
Like I loved how he got in the truck and we were like with them through the glass and then we just followed him back out and then down. Really good long shots that were happening.
Yeah. He did that one and the one coming up here in a little bit. It just really makes you feel like you're there, like immerses you in the kind of experience of it all.
Yeah. And it really speaks to the level of acting too, because it's true.
It's all one take.
Yeah, it's all one take. It's not easy to do that.
And so we're talking with the cop, right? And he's basically, he don't know what's going on either. And then before we can get any more information, we get a fucking alien.
Get an alien just coming right up and then
ramming the cop car
that
because
cop car.
I'm assuming it was making all the wee noise. Yeah.
And so it just rams it.
Yeah, which is a pretty good introduction. Obviously, we already know what they are and what they look like, but these people are like, "What the fuck?" Which is probably pretty scary.
Oh my goodness,
frightening.
Yes, yeah, that has to be.
And they're so fast.
They are so fast.
They're fast. They can jump and they're long.
Yeah, and they've got like these claws on them.
Yeah,
that could just.
I'm assuming that like one hit from them and you're probably dead.
Oh,
from the force, and then like they chunk you.
Like when Homeboy gets dragged out underneath that garage door.
Oh yeah.
Later, I was like, oh,
he dead.
He's still talking, but he's dead. That's a fatal blow.
And then here in a few minutes, like when the town people start getting like basically thrown around like rag dolls, it's pretty wild. But yeah, shit has hit the fan. We've got this alien, and Dad is like, whoa, what the heck? And so he like is running back to his truck. Meanwhile, we are getting the perspective from Reagan, so it's like quiet. There's no audio, and then she's kind of looking at him because obviously he's like panicked, and he's like trying to get the truck started, and she's like, what's going on? So they're trying to get out, and at the same time we have Evelyn and the two boys passing up Dad on the street.
Yeah, and then Marcus is like, that's Dad.
That's Dad, and then they're gonna try to like back up to get him, but before they can do that, Evelyn, is dodging other cars that are driving crazy, and then she gets to a little bit further, and there's this fucking bus that ends up getting right in front of her. Also, another long shot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this shot was so badass.
Yeah.
Evelyn is such a badass for doing this. When, she just puts that car in reverse. I would have crashed so fast. And, I would have too. Like, anytime people can drive backwards, I'm like, damn, that's so cool, because I could never do it.
The skill level. Even with the fucking camera, I can't.
Yeah.
Like it sucks.
I was sitting there thinking, because Andrew backs into every place and he doesn't have a camera or use a camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, Andrew could probably do this.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Oh, I thought you meant like, okay, that's really good for Andrew. I thought you were putting him on blast. I thought you meant like he backs up into everything.
Oh, no. No, Andrew never hits any.
That's funny.
Knock on wood.
Literally. You're about to get a phone call. JK.
Did you know you could be putting oil and chemicals in your coffee? I love coffee creamer, but I don't think I've ever turned the bottle around to actually see what's inside. When I did, I found out many of my favorite creamers contain ingredients I would never intentionally add to my coffee cup, like canola oil, dipotassium phosphate, and artificial flavors. Laird Superfood all started when big wave surfer Laird Hamilton needed morning fuel that could allow him to spend the entire day chasing the ultimate wave. He couldn't find anything in the market that met his ingredient standards, so made himself the ultimate plant-based creamer. Laird Superfood started and launched its first product, Original Superfood Creamer, in 2015. Laird Superfoods contain no artificial flavors, colors, or additives, and no sugars from highly refined corn syrup. All Laird products are sustainably sourced and thoroughly tested to ensure that you're incorporating the cleanest, finest fuel into your routine. All Laird products are also made of all-natural whole food ingredients, and they are crafted from the highest quality all-natural real food ingredients. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to lairdsuperfood.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code BOO at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
I love smoothies, but I don't love smoothie bar prices. With my BlendJet 2 portable blender, I can make smoothie bar quality beverages for a fraction of the price. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. There are also over 30 plus colors to choose from. I myself chose black because it matches the color of my soul. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code BOO12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to this quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with the BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code BOO12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever.
Yeah, Andrew's really good at driving backwards, though. So
That's good.
he
That's
doesn't
good.
hit anything.
I can parallel park pretty good, but I
I
don't
can
know
also
about.
parallel park pretty well.
I don't know about the backwards driving for an extended amount of time, especially while there are vehicles
Yeah.
and aliens. And what I really also love too is that shot of the alien slowly lurking out of the bus. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
That was neat.
because I think even at that point she's just like, oh, there's the fucking bus, but like, nah, it's not only the bus. There's fucking
also an alien,
which is probably
And
more
then
dangerous.
it just jumps out onto their car, and she's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
She doesn't say that.
Oh,
of
and
course.
also, the little toddler, we're gonna have to learn his
Remarkably
name.
calm
Remarkably calm, no crying, just
the
like
whole time. She was reaching back, going like,
it's okay, baby,
it's okay,
it's
baby."
okay. And he was
he
literally
was just like,
what the fuck, bitch?
I was like, "You need to be consoling Marcus right now because
Yeah.
he's losing his shit." He's like,
Literally.
"What?"
Literally, that child was. I want to be that level of unfazed,
Yeah,
and I guess he ends up dying for it though.
that's true.
He gave
does.
no fucks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play with my
I just wanna
motherfucking
play
rocket.
with my toy.
Literally,
If it's the last thing
full
I
volume. Fuck you, Dad.
do.
But yeah, we end up crashing, of course, because the alien jumped on her car, and then we have Reagan and Dad running to them. But of course, because of everything going on, the pandemonium, there's like aliens killing people right in front of them. They end up going into a diner.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of people in there, and they're kind of hiding. And at this point, we have that one dude who's like murmuring under his breath. We have a girl who's on the phone trying to talk to her mom, and then we have an alien outside of the building, and we can see the silhouette, and everybody's just kind of like, what do we do? Like,
Yeah, and Lee catches on pretty quickly, like,
They
we need to
respond in
shut the
waves.
fuck up
Mhm.
because he covers that old man's mouth who's saying the Lord's Prayer, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to
recite
stop you
that
right
shit in your
there.
head, bitch.
Yeah. You pray to your God in silence,
Mhm.
not out loud. And then
The girl's phone goes off.
homegirl's phone goes off.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because then that just cues it, and that monster comes right on in, and it just starts wreaking havoc.
Poor everybody. Like, honestly, like, not a good way to go out.
Thrown around.
Not a fun way.
Yeah,
like,
no, it was real bad.
Painful, shredded. You know what? Maybe it's fast, but also it looks like they get wounded mortally, that they just are left there bleeding out and they suffer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably
Because
what
these
happens
creatures
a
don't
lot
even
of the time.
kill. These creatures don't even kill for like eating or anything.
Eating.
They just kill because
They're just killing to kill.
kill predator, or I don't know if it's maybe the noise, like, because any type of noise like bothers them. They're just like, get rid of that.
Don't like that sound.
Don't like that at all. Well, they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even realize it.
Yeah. Oh,
Aw.
little monsters.
Yeah.
Little babies.
They're
They're
it's not their
IKEA
fault.
lamp heads.
It's not their fault. And so we have, of course, everybody getting fucking murdered. And we have Lee and Reagan, because, of course, they're our main characters, running and making it out
Barely.
miraculously and barely through the back of the building. And they're still getting chased by this alien. I love how, too, we never get a name. I don't even know what to call it. We just keep calling it alien.
Yeah.
I feel like we should name
creature,
it.
Monster.
I can't think of it right now, but we will.
I thought of
Oh.
quintessence.
Quintessence? Quintessence.
I don't even know what that means. I don't think it's
It
a
sounds
real
familiar.
word.
It sounds like from Little Einsteins.
It does.
There was one named Quincy. That's why. I don't know. I'm thinking
Quincy.
about that.
Oh, we'll call him Quincy for short.
I, for some reason, and I was way too old to be watching Little Einsteins.
Little
I fucking loved Little Einsteins. I had to be like 12 or 13 when that was like
on
an
a
hype.
ship in a-
That and the Backyardigans.
Oh, is that the Backyardigans that I was singing? Probably.
No. You were singing the Little Einsteins one.
Oh, okay.
Little Einsteins.
The Backyardigans.
Backyardigans have their own song too, and it's lost in my, like, it's somewhere in there. Oh, I used to know it. But Backyardigans as well were my shit.
I know Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales, let's all go to Dragonland. Come on now, take my hand. Something. Did I skip a part?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
It's Dragon Tales. It's almost time for Dragon Tales.
Ah.
Dragon Tales, come along, take my hand. Let's all go to Dragonland.
Land. Yeah,
This orc, he's the biggest.
that was also a bop. Did you know that it took them like, I watched a whole story on PBS about the Dragon Tales, and it took them like 20 something years to bring that to life.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't that long in the works.
Iconic. That's
Mhm.
why it's so good. That
Um,
and Sagwa.
I don't know that.
Oh, it's about the little Siamese cat.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one with the three Siamese
Yeah, there
cat?
were other cats too, but Sagwa was the main one.
I don't think we're thinking about the same one.
I
But
think Sagwa had siblings.
did it? Maybe. I'm not sure. We're okay. And so the
She was a
aliens.
princess.
And so the
It's also how you say apple in Korean.
really Sagwa?
Sagwa.
Sagwa. Sagwa. That sounds like a bunch of other words, but then
Sagwa.
doesn't. Sagwa. Like
Andrew's
Fagwa.
gonna get so mad at me. He's gonna be like, "That's not how it says."
Your pronunciation is so
But that's
wrong.
how I remember it. It's like Sagwa
so
the
you don't say
cat.
it like that?
I think it's how you say it. That's how
Or
it
something
sounds like to
remotely
me.
close to it?
Yeah, it's really close.
Mm-hmm. This is like the other day when we were saying agrio.
Oh yes.
Agro.
Agro.
Agrio.
Agrio.
Agria. That's the right way. I'm sorry. Agria. And then agrio is wrong. But anyways, okay. We're running. We end up going back to the town main street, and we are back with Marcus and baby and mama, and they are behind the police car, and they hear people running in the street, and oh my gosh, Marcus, who is that? It's dad and Reagan, and they're running this way. And
From a monster though.
and thankfully though, because I thought he was dead, this cop just pops out of nowhere.
I thought the cop got like caught in the crossfire with the
Earlier.
original impact of that cop car. But I guess he didn't, but he's about to die now.
Yeah,
so.
because he does his best to try to shoot this thing, but one, I'm guessing that they're pretty thick-skinned, and then it's
like a dragon, when you have to get him in
right
this,
in their
that
crevices.
one little scale that's missing or something.
That's from the Lord of the Rings.
Soft spot,
The Hobbit.
Smaug.
Smeagol. He doesn't last long because
Smaug.
also his gun is obviously making a lot of noise. So whenever it fires off, that little thing, that alien is like, I'm gonna come for after you now. I don't even think it was the fucking bullets.
Yeah,
it was
you
just
have to
like
blow them when their heads are
open.
open.
Yeah.
That sounded so
You have to blow them.
when their heads are open.
Blow them. We advocate for blowing on heads. Ooh. Okay. Anyways,
Exactly.
we have all of this happening. Of course, everybody's freaked the fuck out, and then that's whenever we do have. I think it just ends with like the toddler crying, and then it's like title card after that, right? Pretty immediately.
Yeah, well, we're back. Yeah, we're back in the present time. And the tiny baby is crying.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Tiny baby
It's like a
crying.
half baby crying. I don't know why.
And then it's a title card with the sand again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says part 2. And then the part 2 turns to red
Mm-hmm.
on a black screen, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just fades
Like
away. And then it says day 474. So we know that we're right back where we left off.
Yeah.
Even though that was super apparent from where we
are visually.
where we were.
We are gathering all of our stuff, obviously, because of what happened at the end of the first film. Our nice, beautiful home and great place to raise a baby in that little dungeon they created is ruined. So
Yep.
we have to evacuate. We have to go somewhere else. Which honestly, did they really? I feel like we could have fixed things.
They could have. I felt like they could have rebuilt.
That house.
The barn was on fire, which would be a little bit hard, but the house was still good.
The house was intact, and that house had a basement.
Yeah,
Just
which
how,
you could
like,
also
soundproof
it.
the basement.
Yeah.
That had all your monitors and all the stuff. Like, yeah, it kind of seemed a bit like, okay, but you know what?
I mean, all of
This is
their
what makes a sequel.
provisions, all of their provisions were in
That one place.
the barn, though.
That's true.
That's like where all their food was and stuff, and all their canned goods and
Mhm.
everything were down there. Yeah.
No judgment. All right, you're right. They got to do what they got to do. And they are getting the box, the gas mask, because that's what I'm going to call it. They are gassing this baby up. And
Gassing it.
Miss Reagan also makes sure to grab like a small amp and the little microphone and stuff. So that way, whenever if they have to run into an alien, they can do their little 1, 2, 3 punch with the noise
Yep.
hearing aid situation.
And then she's up on top of the silo,
Mm-hmm.
putting the fires on, and then mapping where the other people are who are nearby.
Yeah.
So that way they can make their way to the other people and find where the other fires are, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, for
to
like
go
a 12,
from-
13-year-old.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't even know if I could do that.
Nah, I couldn't.
If somebody gave me a map and then like a location far away and they're like, plot this point on the map, I'd be like, I
I can't
don't know,
even
here?
I can't even use the maps on my phone. Like I genuinely can't. When I go to a different city and it's like you put a location, you like gotta walk to it. I always fucking walk the wrong way for at least 3 minutes, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta turn around this way.
I pay attention, and then I'm sitting there turning in circles for a long time, trying to figure out which way is it trying to actually tell me to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that struggles with that.
No, that's hard.
And so
the walking's really hard.
it's the most difficult thing. We weren't made to walk. And so we have ourselves leaving. We get on our little sand trail, and we start to walk through essentially is the woods, I guess, that is, right next to their farmhouse. And they end up getting so far that they run out of sand, because I guess Lee never got this far. Because he was the one that was putting the sand
we don't really
out.
have any
need to go that far.
Need to go that way, so let's not worry about it.
And so they end up walking for a while. It's so scary too, because like after they walk off the sand, you start to see why the sand was so important, because they're like walking on twigs and branches, and you just start hearing them snapping.
Yeah.
And so
especially under Reagan's foot, because she can't really tell where she's stepping. Yeah. I mean, she can tell with her eyes, but
not
she
audibly.
Can't hear if she just made a loud step or not.
And so she,
like Mom said, footsteps were almost silent.
Yeah.
Even off the sand. But Reagan's, then you heard a little
crunchy crunch.
I was like, so scary.
And so we end up walking for a bit until we start to see what looks like a train station. I don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
It's a train station, right?
Train yard.
Okay. And then we see the other fire that was lit. It's kind of died a little bit now. But we know that someone has to be here in the area. But they end up coming to a hole in the fence, and they're trying to get through it. And it's like, of course, we have to be quiet. It's like we see like clothing start to get snagged a little bit, but it's not even the fence that causes a problem. It's what happens when Evelyn walks too far and doesn't realize that there's a tripwire.
A booby trap.
Yeah, and ends up, what's the word? Triggering it, yeah. And then these cans and bottles fall down and make a whole lot of noise. Yeah, and so she's just like, run to the children, run. And we have, of course, them running, and someone's watching them run with the little sniper thing
through a little scope.
Yeah, scope. And we have one of the, like, for me, one of the scenes that, like, when I first watched it when we watched it in theater, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, we watched this movie in theaters together, you guys. I think we were pretty drunk.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I don't
even remember the theater experience.
I remember like kind of talking loudly through it, being like, hey, wait, did the dad really die? Because it had been so long since I'd seen the first one. Because I think I had only seen it in theaters and then maybe one other time after that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, did the dad actually die? I couldn't remember. And then I was like, wait, what? And I just kept asking you things.
Yeah, and also too, I mean, this movie kind of got halted because of the pandemic, because it was supposed to come out in 2020, and then it wasn't able to go into the theaters until 2021. So yeah.
So it was
it had been a while since we watched the first one.
Yeah,
and yeah, so we end up, poor Marcus runs into a bear trap, and it just like fucking clamps onto his ankle and foot, and he lets out the most good actor. Honestly, did he really step into a bear trap? Because it was like the most guttural scream, and his
sounded like he was in agony.
And it's also such good acting, because like the scream doesn't even come until he like looks down and he's like, oh shit. Like, as most people do, you're shocked. Like the shock is like, and because the shock is like you don't even feel it, and then you're like looking at it, and that's whenever it's like a kid that falls, like they won't cry until you're like, oh my god, and being like, oh, this is bad. But dude, poor guy, because honestly, Marcus didn't really do anything to deserve that.
No.
And he's so young. Hopefully, it doesn't fuck him up. Give him a little lamp. But yeah, they are still getting watched through the scope. This is happening, and of course, Mom has to come and be like, I need you to be quiet, babe. Like,
I know this really sucks right now, but I need you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, essentially. And so we do hear, and then we do hear, I guess they roar and scream in this one, a loud roar from an alien. Yeah. And so we know that it's coming up. So of course, Reagan does her thing. She gets her little amp, her hearing aid ready. And we see mom pick up the shotgun, and one of them comes up close enough to where she turns it on and it starts to fuck with it, and then mom shoots it.
Right in its little face.
And then
and
the dude who was watching through the scope is like witnessing all of this.
Yeah. And he's like, oh shit.
And that's whenever we do have them. She gets the bear trap off of him. They get him up. They're trying to walk into or run into a building that's there next to them, a warehouse. And whenever they do get in, the two kids are ahead of her a little bit, and they end up getting snatched by someone that we don't know just yet. But we also do see that there is an alien behind her coming in through the building on the roof ceiling thing.
It's a little nerve-wracking whenever you just see the children get snatched all of a sudden by some man, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
Because you have like two things going on at the same time. You have this stranger, and then you have like fucking alien. So it's just kind of like, damn.
Pursuing,
two fucking problems. Two predators.
Exactly. And then he covers the mom's mouth and is like, shh. And it's like, I know what you're trying to do, but this also seems so menacing and scary.
Yeah. And at that moment, though, I guess I think she's like, well, it's either you or the monster, so I guess I'll go with you.
Go with you or have a fighting chance against you.
Yeah.
Basically. And Emmett, well, who we later find out that this is Emmett, he is directing them because he points to the monster that's directly above her, and he's like, follow me, basically. He picks up Marcus throws him over his shoulder and starts running, and then everyone else follows suit, and they're following him, running through all of this little like maze of steel and lumber and stuff like that.
Like, I don't even know what kind of factory that is or what type of, I don't even know.
It said Steel Productions at one area.
Oh, okay.
On like a cistern or something. So I think it was some sort of steel, even though it was in a train yard as well. So I'm confused. I'm not really sure what kind of place this was, but.
And then he takes them to an oven. Furnace.
I just called it the little quiet room.
Yeah. Takes them into a basement situation and then into a furnace. And he puts a little rag on it, which is very important because when he goes in, it doesn't lock all the way because apparently when they get in there, they only have like 7 minutes or something of air.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if he ever put a time on it.
Yeah,
but
we just know that he sets a timer.
And we know that there's a limited amount of time that they can be in there without running out of oxygen. And so we're in there. He is talking to the mom, Evelyn, and he's like, you can't stay here. You need to go. And she's like, let me see your face, because I think she recognized the voice pretty off the bat. And then she's like, oh my God, Emmett. And he's like, yep.
Well, and he also said, I don't know why you traveled up.
Oh,
up
yeah.
This way.
She's like,
she was like, how do you know we traveled up?
That's right.
And he was like, oh, awkward.
Yeah. And so she finds out it's Emmett. And then she's like, we can't go. And then like shows him the baby. And he's like, oh, fuck. Okay, I guess you can't. Which honestly, no, because he was still, I think after that.
I was like,
go.
No, he was still saying, hey, you can't stay. You can't help. There's not enough provisions, stuff like that.
Yeah. Because we have them getting out of there. The alien has left, I guess, because they were quiet enough for a while. Mom starts pouring like alcohol on Marcus's wound. She's dressing it. She's getting it wrapped up. While Miss Reagan puts a radio and headphones onto Marcus's head. And so we're getting asked now by Mr. Emmett. He's like, well, basically more like, I've never seen that happen before. Like, how did y'all do that?
Yeah, I've never seen one of them dead.
How does it work?
What did you do? And oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You go with it. Run with it.
Basically just asking how the feedback killed it. Like, what even all did you do? And then they're just kind of catching up and like asking like, oh, where's your son? And he said that day. And Nora, who was his wife, and he was saying, he says 11 weeks ago. Basically, they're just kind of catching up, figuring out why he's alone and stuff like that. And then at one point she gets to him and she says, every day whenever he lit those fires, did you know it was him? And he said, yes. And then she said, did you ever think to come for us? And he said, no. Which, I mean, did y'all really need anyone to come for y'all?
Right. And
Lee
then also, too,
was taking good care of you.
Maybe she's being like a little like emotional about it right now in the moment. But I think also, too, if she were to put herself in that perspective, it's like he had his wife. Like, it's putting us first at the moment. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
every man for himself out there.
And so, yeah, they're having this kind of awkward conversation. And that's whenever we have, I'm sorry. Ooh. The radio plays Beyond the Sea. That's what it happens, right?
Yes.
Because then that's when Marcus is like, whoa, 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 you guys, there's music. And then, Reagan's like, what? Mom's like, what? But Mr. Emmett is disillusioned because he's like, they've been playing that for like months now. Like, it's nothing. Like, it's, he brushes it off pretty quickly. And that's whenever I think, oh yeah, Reagan's like, well, Dad would have heard this. Like, he would have said something about
Dad
this.
checked the radio every day. There's no way he would have missed this.
Yeah.
And she's all of a sudden getting really defensive of Lee.
Yeah.
Now after his
very
death.
hostile towards Emmett.
Just being like, hey, no, like my dad would have heard this. You're nothing like him, kind of stuff. And it was like, damn, Reagan. Okay, you tell this man.
Literally. And it's funny because he actually looked like he was like, fuck, like hurt. Like, shit, like that's a burn. And so yeah, she's going off about it, and then I was like, my notes even like, damn, okay, calm down, girl.
Yeah.
And then he's really cynical because he's like, that's nothing. Like it's basically like, he's like, don't get your hopes up. And so that's whenever I think it's, and he also tells them like, I want y'all gone by tomorrow.
Yeah, he's like, and you need to be gone by tomorrow, by the way.
And then this is whenever I think we're now in nighttime-ish type of situation. I don't know, because they're in a basement, and Reagan is getting Marcus, and she's telling him about her plan. And she's like,
yeah, she also wakes him up in the most god-awful way ever. She just holds her hand over his mouth. And I was like,
so he doesn't scream.
What the hell? Girl, just like be like, Marcus.
Hello.
Marcus, wake up. Like little tap tap.
Yeah.
Not suffocate your brother. But yeah, she gets him up and brings him to the quiet room. Little oven situation.
She's telling him about how she wants to get a boat, or what she want to say? What'd she do?
She's basically saying that the song is a signal for where to look. She was saying somewhere beyond the sea, and that she tracked where the radio station was and found that it was on this island.
Yeah.
And so she was saying that the song was literally saying that, like, to look somewhere beyond the sea. There's another place where you can find like salvation, basically.
Also, she's fucking smart, because how did she fucking do that?
Yeah,
and find that
really
it was on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank God she had the signal book, basically.
That, and like all of the previous work that her dad had, she kind of like also went off of that.
Went off of it. Yeah, exactly. And she's basically telling him that it's not even a day's like trek away, or about a day's work trek, and that they can get there, and that she's going to go find this place, find a boat, and get to the island and see what's going to be there. Yeah, she said, I can save them. I can save us. Let me do this.
And then, of course, Marcus is like, don't do this. Like, if you go, I'm going to tell Mom, like, please stop. And she's like, what would, like, if Dad knew about this, he would do it. Like, he would try to save us. And she's like, and he's like, well, yeah, look where that got him.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. And
sad, but funny.
Yeah. And they're both kind of like, oh, shit, you're right. But then she's like, whatever. And then kind of like just gets left at that. But then it's like I guess they left it at that, and they're back asleep. But he wakes up again to like a little water dripping off onto his head. And we see a note left on the radio from Reagan. What did it say?
Keep listening.
Keep listening, right? Yeah. And then we get a picture of her walking off on her own into like some tunnel.
Yep. She went off on her own. And then basically Marcus does exactly what he promised he would do. He tells Mom, and Mom is freaking out, rightly so.
And Mom is like, honestly, this part too for me was like, Emmett don't have to do shit, but okay.
I know.
Because she goes up to Emmett and she's
you
like,
have to go.
You will go find my daughter and you will bring her back to me.
I was like, it's not, Emmett didn't make her leave.
I'm like, this is not Lee. This is not her father. And so, yeah, he is basically getting told by Evelyn, like, you need to go bring her back, because Lee would do it. And if you're half the man that Lee is, basically, you would do this too.
And Lee would tell you that she's worth saving. Because earlier Emmett had said that, whenever she asked, did you ever think to come for us? He said no. And then he said, you find out really quickly that the people that are left are not worth saving. They're all evil and
Yeah.
turning on each other and just killing people now.
Yeah.
Just as bad as the creatures.
Understandably. I mean, I feel like when you're left in a post-apocalyptic world, your perception, and I feel like people tend to like go into more like animalistic ways, I guess, in a sense, or
Yeah.
like their most probably.
I don't know if
worst
it's
ways.
understandable that they do it though, but it is. I mean, what they do.
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
I'm
they shouldn't. They shouldn't do it.
Mhm.
They should still be nice people.
But I mean,
Happen
think
in The
about
Walking
it. Like,
Dead.
also, you have to think about that a lot of like things happen, or people are mean or nasty because of trauma, and
Yeah.
like they've maybe either lost like their loved ones. You're right. No excuse.
I still don't think
but
it's an excuse to kill
yeah.
people for
Yeah.
no reason.
That's true. And so we do have her walking through following the train tracks, and her feet are bleeding. And
Yeah, her
she
feet
is
look pretty messed up.
Yeah, we see a train station. There's like shoes and stuff kind of just left there, which I guess because either a suitcase got opened or like they were just knocking people so fast off their feet that their shoes got left there.
Yeah, I think, or it could have been since they were all basically high heels left. It was like women going to work, and then they basically ditched their high heels so they could run.
That's true. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That makes sense. And we find a train. She gets into a train.
Yep, and she's just walking past corpses on this train. You see them like all just kind of leaning in the windows, on the floor, in between the seats and stuff. And of course, I was waiting for one of them to like not be dead, and it be someone who was like
pretending to be dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or something. But then the birds come out.
Yeah.
The birds fly, and then that's the jump scare that
we
got because you could tell it was leading up to one, not in a cheesy way. It was still a good jump scare, but you're holding your breath in this moment because you're like, oh God, please don't. You're seeing all these dead people, and it's pretty unnerving.
Well, and then I think pretty much too. Is this where she looks out of the hole in the train as well?
Yeah, which is such a cool shot. Love that scene
because we see like all of the ravaged trains and like the mess that has been created.
And you see the greenery that's growing up around it. You know, it's been a long time since these people have died on this train and stuff.
And we have yet again another jump scare, and this time by a dead body because she reaches into the what's it, like a cockpit? Is that still what you call it for a train?
Yeah, or conductor's room.
Conductor's room, yeah. And she sees a first aid kit, so she's like reaching to try to grab it, but at the same time, this like dead body just plops out in front of her. I guess one of the train conductors or something. And so she ends up getting the first aid kit, but it's a big jump scare. She's freaked out, and she's so freaked out. Yeah, she screams that she ends up, and also like kind of falling down, making a whole lot of noise. And she's kind of there just like freaked out that she doesn't even notice that there's an alien in the train with her.
Yep, she's attracted a monster. I will say this film did a really good job of, most of this film is spent basically holding your breath and like hoping that they're not going to make a sound and fuck up. And like, I really, really, really felt it in the scene where she was reaching for the first aid kit.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, oh God, girl, I swear to God, if you knock that over and then just tumble down. And obviously a body was blocking the door.
Yeah.
That was pretty clear. And so I was like, something's going to happen and she's going to make noise. And, but this one did a really good job of like making you really hold your breath with the people and like feel like, oh God, like you're really with them and trying not to make that noise.
Yeah. And then poor Reagan is just there freaking out, and she's trying to get her little amp ready, and she gets it set up to where it's going off, but she can't hold the gun and cock it and do all these things at the same time while doing that. So it is bothering the alien, but because she's having to like cock the gun and shoot it at it and hold that at the same time, doesn't quite get that great of an aim at it.
Yeah, and just barely misses its head.
Just kind of pisses it off.
Head. Yeah, makes it grumpy.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, oh shit, Reagan's about to die. But
yeah,
thankfully,
because it got pretty close to her.
Oh yeah. Thankfully though, she gets saved by Emmett because
he's just in the nick of time.
And shoots it in the back of the head, which I'm assuming some of the guts got on her.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, that must have been pretty icky.
Yeah. And we have her and him talking for a little while. I think is this the part where he's like, I got to take you back home, right? And then she's like, we don't have a home. Like we gotta
she was saying,
go
what
save
home?
ourselves.
No provisions. Like that's not our home. We need to go find somewhere that, like, she's like, I got a plan. Let me do this. And he's like, no.
Yeah. And I think at this, after they're talking and stuff and they go into that like little train station thing, we're back with mom and the baby. And this is whenever she notices that the air tank is running low.
Yep. Oxygen tank's almost out for poor little baby.
And so that's whenever we have her kind of like, she's thinking about something. And then we go back with Miss Mama Reagan, and she wakes up and she realizes that her hearing aid and the amp is gone. And so immediately we're thinking like, damn, this 2-time and crosser.
Yeah, and he just fucking left her to die, basically. And then she wakes up, she's freaking out. She has this big dramatic breakdown on the front lawn of this train station. And then as she's like hunched over crying, we all of a sudden see, and of course we can't hear because we're in her perspective. We get Emmett's feet showing up on screen and him crouching down and having the amp and the hearing aid in his hand. And he was like, I found a boat.
I found a butt. And yeah, I wonder if he was walking up like and thinking like, oh damn, she thought I left her. Because like, you had to have seen her. They're just like crying, crouched over. You must have been like, oh shit, should have left a note maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, something been like, hey, I'll be back.
Yeah. But we cut back to Evelyn, and she is getting herself ready. She is about to leave on a little excursion. She knows that she's got to go get some more medicine and
a proper bandage for Marcus's foot. Oxygen, all that stuff. She's got to go get supplies.
Yeah, and she's basically just gonna leave, but then Marcus sees her, and he's like, I love how, like, wouldn't he have freaked out if he would have like, hey,
woken up and she was
mom?
just gone?
Yeah, literally. But because she also said like, I'll be like, what did she say? It wasn't even 2 hours. It was like 6 hours or something like that. I don't even know. Did she say 2?
She said a matter of hours.
Yeah, she said a something amount of hours. And I'm like, girl, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But she's giving him a pep talk because he's like, I can't do this. I don't want to be left alone. Like, please don't leave me. And
don't leave me with a little death alarm.
And, she's basically just telling him like, I need to do this for you, for the baby. Like, you need to, step up and do your part. Very nice mom words. And then so he stays. And then we go back with Emmett and Reagan, and they are crossing a bridge. We are seeing where he saw the boat and the islands.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah. And you see the island, and it's island because it's got the little big antenna on it for like a radio station. And so we are making our way. We end up going to
downtown. Sorry.
Vanessa Carlton. And we cut back with mom, and she is having this moment where she crosses the bridge that we saw from the first movie and goes to the cross where they have their little memoriam for their toddler. And she ends up leaving her ring on the cross. She
takes off her wedding ring and leaves it with the grave.
For
and then
Lee.
Yeah.
And she's also like, I'm a single woman now.
Yeah. Because I was like, I feel like I would have held on to that maybe. But I guess this family,
it felt awfully a little shady with the timing of Emmett coming into the picture.
I know.
She's like, all right, I got a new one to take care of us. and then she's like, oh, and his wife is dead? Perfect. Your wife is dead. My husband's dead.
Now we can fuck and make more babies.
You can replace your children with mine.
Yep.
And so yeah, she's leaving the ring, and then we also cut back to fucking Marcus with the baby, and for some reason, I don't know why, he just decides I'm gonna go explore.
Yeah, he puts the baby in the box, and I was like, let's not use the oxygen up
when we know it's running low.
Need it,
and yeah,
if you can just chill with the baby. But yeah, he decides to leave the baby, and then at the same time he's going to explore. We cut back to Reagan and Emmett walking around at dusk, getting to the docks and stuff.
Into a creepy neighborhood with a lot of fog.
Yeah, I know. It looked very ominous.
Yeah.
I was like,
it looked on purpose. Like, are the creepy people also rolling in the fog with fog machines? But yeah, we are with them on the docks, and at this time we're also cutting back to mom. She's getting supplies right now from is it the same grocery store or pharmacy from earlier?
Yeah, she went
from the
to the
first
same
one.
pharmacy.
Yeah, and so we're there getting all that stuff, and then we're back with Marcus, kind of exploring, and then this is whenever we cut back to Reagan and Emmett on the dock, and we're definitely getting the feeling that they are not alone on this dock.
Yeah, he's like crouched down looking at a boat, and all of a sudden something rushes past him, and he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so they're going and they're exploring the dock, looking around to see what in the fuck just rushed past him. And they encounter a little girl, basically. And at the same time, we also cut back. Mom's getting more oxygen tanks. The whole time we're cut to each different scene. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
In a good way. But
it's a lot for the notes.
Yeah, it is.
Because I'm like, oh shit, now we're here, now we're there.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Emmett encounters someone at the docks. Mom gets more oxygen tanks. It's a little girl.
Yeah.
It's a baby.
It is a little girl. And she's on the dock. And very much I'm like, oh, this is a fucking trap. Because he's trying to get close to her and like be like, you know, are you okay? What's your name? And then she fucking throws.
And at the same time too, Marcus finds Nora's body.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, so we just see that it's a little girl.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Marcus uncovers Nora's body that's like petrified, and he like screams and stumbles back a bit, alerting monsters to come get him. But yeah, then we're back with Emmett and them, and the little girl, yeah, like you said, it's a trap. And she traps his head in this little noose looking thing.
Yeah.
And her face was like all bloodied, wasn't it?
She looked like she was fucked up.
Yeah. She looked pretty rough.
She looked like she was possessed.
Yeah, she did. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But she traps him, and then all of a sudden, all of these people emerge.
From the
There
shadows,
was like
from the fog.
Probably 10 of them.
A little clan of raiders and probably what else, Lord knows they do. And so that's whenever we do have also Marcus running in through the factory situation because there's an alien coming through and he's trying to get him and the baby into the furnace, which he does end up doing, but he forgets the damn thing that like makes the little towel.
Rag.
Yeah, the rag that keeps them from getting locked in there. And so he quickly realizes like, oh fuck, I locked us in here, and he's kind of freaking out for a little bit. And then that's whenever we do have, does mom come back at this point?
Yeah. Mom comes back, and then she's about to, because she's gotten all of the supplies and stuff, and she hears that there's a monster down there, and she like starts running. And she's basically like, I'm going to sacrifice one of these oxygen tanks, and makes a plan to blow it up. She shoots the gun off, wants to draw the monster's attention up her way. And then once it comes up and stuff, she gets it. She like put the oxygen tank right in the exact perfect spot for this monster to come up, and then stand by it. And then she shoots the oxygen tank, and then we get this giant explosion.
Which you think would blow up the alien, but it doesn't. It
doesn't, just
creates a big old fire.
Scorches him a little bit.
Which is what she wanted, because
makes him
then
crispy.
The fire system gets triggered, and we have the water falling down, and it helps to hide her enough so that way she can sneak by it and go down into the little basement area where her kids are. And she ends up getting into, before that, sorry, I think we also were cutting back and forth with Reagan and what's his face, Emmett. And this is whenever like the dudes are taking her, they take her little hearing aid off her ear, and it seems like they're gonna like kidnap her. But then she is told by Emmett to dive with that ASL hand motion that she taught him in the beginning of the film, like, you know, I don't know, 3 years prior. How much is 467? I guess that's only a year and a little bit of time. That's crazy. This all happened so fast for them. And so we end up getting her diving into the water, and he tosses those cans and stuff, the noose thing. Or does he toss it, or does he wrap himself around the crazy guy?
He wraps himself around the crazy guy.
And so now they're making all this noise together, and then the alien comes and starts killing and picking off everybody one by one, which is pretty crazy. Pretty cool.
It was. And he's causing that scene, and then this is where we flash back to mom, and Evelyn saves Marcus and the baby just in time. Basically, she opens it, and brings
Marcus back to consciousness.
Yeah, she's like, Marcus, please, baby, wake up.
Yeah.
And he wakes up, and then we flash back to Emmett and them, and Emmett, right as the monster's about to get to Emmett and this one guy, he throws himself into the water, letting the other man get attacked, but he's still connected to the dock through the noose that's around his neck.
Yeah.
So he can't get really far.
Choked by it.
Yeah. He had a knife in his hand because he stabbed the guy's leg to
make him scream
and attract him over. But he didn't cut the noose off of himself. Yeah. I'm sure he was scrambling and
maybe he
freaking
left.
Out.
Maybe the knife got left in
No,
the
it was in his hand.
Oh, he pulled it.
Yeah,
I
saw it in his hand as he was swimming.
Gotcha.
But
yes, he is swimming. And he does notice, as he's swimming, that these monsters are trying to jump from boat to boat to kill people. But when it jumps in the water to try to get to him, we learn that I guess they can't swim in deep water.
Yeah.
Because
I guess they just walk on the bottom, like you said.
And the first one.
Yeah.
But they can't swim in deep water, or at least the ocean anyways. And so it ends up drowning. And he thankfully gets saved by Reagan on another boat that just kind of comes by and picks. Also, she has a lot of strength to pick him up and pull him on the boat.
I know.
She was just like, yank.
Hello, I got you, sir.
Did you know that dehydration is the leading cause of daytime fatigue? I was shocked to learn that even mild dehydration can cause headaches, muscle weakness, and brain fog. But luckily, there's a solution. Cure! Cure Hydration is an oral rehydration solution that contains the perfect balance of electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb water and rehydrate quickly. The formula is made with all natural ingredients like coconut water, powder, and pink Himalayan salt, and is free from artificial flavors, sweeteners, and preservatives. Cure Hydration is vegan, gluten-free, and non-GMO, making it a great option for anyone with dietary restrictions or preferences. The packets are convenient and easy to use. Just mix with water and drink. They're perfect for on the go, travel, or anytime you need a quick and effective hydration boost. Hydration is more than just drinking water. That's what Lauren Picasso, a lifelong endurance athlete, discovered as she struggled to stay hydrated no matter how much water she drank. Lauren founded Cure, a science-backed electrolyte drink mix to make hydrating easy for everyone. Cure believes that hydration should be simple and effective, but also clean and natural. That's why they use only the highest quality plant-based ingredients and avoid any artificial or harmful additives. They're committed to transparency and honesty. All of their ingredients are clearly listed on their website and packaging, and they're always happy to answer any questions or concerns. Ready to combat dehydration? Try Cure today and feel the difference for yourself. Use code BOO for 20% off your order.
Are you tired of the same old boring puzzles? Mix things up with Wongo puzzles. Each puzzle is a custom design with intricate patterns and whimsical shapes that will keep you engaged for hours. Plus, their eco-friendly materials and commitment to sustainability make Wongo puzzles a guilt-free way to unwind. Wongo puzzles are 100% wooden puzzles, meaning they'll last forever. Each piece is hand-drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun, whimsy pieces as you work through it. They come in a custom wooden box, which is perfect for storage and gifting. With stunning design and unique shapes, Wongo puzzles are a cut above the rest. So what are you waiting for? Go to wongopuzzles.com and pick your puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code BOO and get 10% off of your order. This is the most fun you've had with a puzzle guaranteed or your money back. Go to Wongo, WONGO, puzzles.com and use the code BOO to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now. Wongo.
Especially because he's like drenched in water. But anyways,
he's got to be extra heavy because he was also wearing like chambray and denim.
And so he ends up opening his mouth like you just said, and the fucking hearing aid was in his mouth. Mm-hmm. So it's a good save, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like that thing
dry.
totally got wet.
Yeah.
If not by the water, by his saliva. But anyways, I digress. We're on the boat and we are heading towards the island.
Must be so hard to hold your breath while also holding something in your mouth.
Yeah, I feel like that's a challenge. And so, mind over matter, they end up getting to the island. What?
Nothing.
Oh, did I say something?
No, I was like, I mean, you can still breathe through your nose. Nothing.
But like in the water?
No, my mind went to
something else.
Yeah,
I don't know where it went to. It's okay. And we end up getting to the island, and very quickly they are like kind of like espionage, maybe, I don't know. They're like shadily kind of like trying not to draw too much attention to themselves, and they start to notice that everybody on this island is pretty much living a normal life.
Yeah,
Like they're
it's
having like a
such a
bonfire,
picturesque
cookout.
looking scene.
People are yelling out to each other, and even they're just, well, especially Emmett, he's just kind of like, you can tell he's like, oh, like that's wild, that's crazy. How are we doing this?
Yeah, having all this fun time and stuff around.
Yeah.
And then this is where they get taken in by them, and
very quickly.
Yeah, thankfully they were not a hostile society.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully if they were putting a signal out like that,
For
that they
people,
wouldn't be, but they could have just been drawing the people in to steal their resources.
Kill them. It's very like Walking Dead. And so they are, just starting to like eat food with them. They're warmed by the fire, and then that's whenever a dude who I guess is one of the leaders there, or a prominent figure, starts talking to Emmett. And
this is where we figure out the creatures can't swim.
He's asking Emmett like how he figured it out, and he's like, I didn't figure it out. She's the one who figured it out. And then he's like, why are you here? For help? And he's to get help, and he's like, no, we are the help. And he shows him the hearing aid.
Yeah, and we figured out too that like on the day of, they figured out that the creatures couldn't swim and stuff, and that there were 12 boats lined up, but only 2 got out. So that's why it's such a small community of people. Because only 2 were able to make it out, because everyone else started rushing the boats, and I'm assuming that they just got killed and screaming, and it just went to shit. Yeah. But yeah, he says that we didn't come to give help. We came to give help, not to receive it. And then we flash to Emmett apologizing to Reagan for doubting her and stuff like that, saying like, I'm sorry, and you're right. I'm nothing like your father, but you are, kind of thing.
Yeah, a little pep talk, and
which was good. That was sweet.
A little bonding moment between them two. And we have then Emmett going to the beach, I guess, to kind of, get some fresh air, get his bearings about him, kind of have a moment to himself. And he's on that beach, and he starts to look at a family photo. And it's kind of having a
the picture that he drew of his son.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, because it was Reagan was looking at it whenever they first got into his little lair, and he like picked up the picture and like folded it up and put it in his pants.
He's really touchy about it.
Yeah, he's like, "That's my son. Don't look at him." And then he pulls out that same picture because it was still in his pants, and was like, "Oh, my son."
Little nostalgic moment. And then this is when he ends up hearing and noticing that one of the boats that was next to the dock that an alien got onto was literally bumping up on rocks on the island. So he's like, oh, fuck.
Made its way over.
And so he comes up, climbs over, I'm assuming like a cliff, and then it's like, get inside. Everybody get inside. But before he can even like say it or warn people, this alien comes up and starts just like breaking loose, and all pandemonium starts happening.
Yeah, it's killing everything.
Yeah,
left
little
and
kids.
Right. Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I mean, it definitely,
he did save one.
Yeah, he did save a kid, and the boss guy got to save his kid too. Put him in the closet, and then they get to the car and start honking the horn and driving it off to lure it away from all the people in the community. Yeah, and they're trying to get him away from it. And
which works.
It does. The creature does follow, and then it jumps onto the car, and of course it's like what's it called? A convertible.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, and it's not even a hardtop convertible. It's like a soft
cloth
shell.
ones. Yeah.
So the creature just rips through it, and it was like, oh God, it was so close to Reagan's head. And
multiple times.
Whenever she gets, after it seems like it's fallen off for a second, she kind of turns up and lifts the cloth up to see like where it is, and all of a sudden its little face pops up.
Yeah.
Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
It's pretty scary.
I was like, oh,
really good
God.
jump scare.
Yeah, it was a good jump scare.
And it's chasing them essentially to the studio that they're trying to get to, where the radio station is at. And we have them getting there. We get inside, kind of like a garage-looking situation. And that's whenever the main guy was just like, whoa, like maybe it went back to town. Maybe it's not following us anymore. And I love how Emmett is like, give me the damn key. Give me the key. Because if he wouldn't ask for that key, they would have been screwed.
They would have been screwed.
Because right after he gives him the key, the dude gets pulled from under and attacked by the alien.
Yep. And this is when he gets stabbed in the back, just like, and we said he would not. Man would not be living no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I my notes say, good thing they got the key.
Yeah. And so they end up going inside, and not long after, we have this fucking alien just busting through. And it's a very intense scene. And we cut back to Mom and Marcus and the baby. And
It reminded me of, what was that, Scream 2 at the college?
oh,
when
in the
they're in the
studios?
radio
Yeah,
room.
Mm-hmm. With Gail and everything. And
Yeah.
Dewey. Yeah. I can see that, which is a pretty good scene. And so Mom and Marcus are with the baby, and they are breathing again. They are okay. We're trying to open the furnace hatch because we're thinking the alien left. And then at the same time, we're back with Emmett and Reagan in the studio, and they are trying to maneuver their way through the station to get to the on-air room. But obviously, it's making it a little difficult because the alien is in there with them, and they're trying to be quiet. So we have, I think, Emmett sliding that glass window thing, and Reagan going through it, and it's this whole moment of like you said earlier, when you're like holding your breath with them because you're like, fuck, we can't make any noise.
Yeah.
And there's so many times that she almost knocks stuff over with her feet.
Yeah. Her toes get very close to some things in some moments.
Oh, and then the little drawer open.
Yeah. And then she slides it kind of shut again. And that does make noise.
Yeah.
And it does kind of alert the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes over and stuff like that. My notes get really sporadic here. So
Well, because then we cut back with the mom, and she's walking out of the furnace. But that's when we noticed that the alien was in the fucking little round thing, just kind of waiting for them to come out.
yeah.
And Marcus notices, and so that's whenever we cut back to Reagan and what's his face, Emmett, and this is whenever we have them right next to the area, the booth, the
Sound booth.
the on live one. And so she's about to go through it, but that's whenever
Where we are right now.
And Emmett, I guess, realizes, like, if I don't make a noise or do something right now, like, it'll probably get her. So he ends up jumping enough to create a distraction so that way she can go through the door and get into the room. And so obviously whenever he does this, the fucking alien like almost gets him, and I think claws his leg up a little bit as he's trying to get out away.
Or the explosion got his leg or something.
Yeah.
He definitely got his leg injured. It was bloodied.
And then we have cutting back to Mom and the baby and Marcus, and the alien has breached like the door and is now trying to claw its way inside.
Yeah.
My bad.
It was trying to get inside, which was really scary. Because it like
Has
gets
really
the
long
baby's
arms.
box. Yeah, it does have really long arms. It gets the baby's box. It like chunks it out, and then it like gets Mom's leg.
Oh, it had to hurt.
Yeah, it looked pretty nasty. And then she just screams
Yeah.
and stuff too. And I was like, ooh.
And thankfully, we have Reagan turning on her hearing aid in time, and you can tell that it starts to fuck with the alien, but it's not doing it enough. So then she gets the bright idea of turning on the live on air feed and getting the hearing aid and putting it up to the microphone where the song for By the Sea was coming and playing from.
Yep. So now she's broadcasting, transmitting the screeching sound, the feedback, and the monster in front of her starts like recoiling. And then all of a sudden, Marcus, we flash back to him, and he's wearing the headphones, listening to the transmission. And he starts hearing the screeching, and he's like, oh my God. And then he turns the amp on and displays the sound and, makes their monster recoil as well. And then Reagan picks up some sort of like stick, fire poker thing looking thing. And then he gets that gun that Mom set down, the little handgun. I don't know what those are called.
I don't know either.
Yeah, handgun. And then both of her children kill a monster
at the same time.
Yep, simultaneously.
Really beautiful to watch.
Yeah, Reagan
whacking the fuck.
Stabs him in the head. And then Marcus just shooting the other one. And it just kind of, I loved the way Marcus's one just went like, its head like flopped backwards. Like all of its little shell did.
Yeah.
And then just went like,
slumped down.
It was good. I liked it a lot. And then it just kind of
Ends
the movie there.
Yeah, because they just kill the alien, and then that's it.
So Mom's ended with a nice kill in the first one and her little cocking of the gun, and then the second one ends with a nice double kill from both of her kids. Mama taught her kids well.
It's like a good passing on of the torch of like, and then we see like their survival and like, all right, these kids are gonna make it probably.
Exactly. Yeah, they're smart.
Yeah. And that is 2021's The Quiet Place 2.
Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah, very important. Part 2. And it is I kind of enjoyed this one more than the first one. I think only because I enjoyed like seeing the day one a lot. Like that kind of made the movie for me because you kind of see like beforehand and how it all happened. And I enjoyed the acting from the kids. Once again, they were really good. Miss Evelyn, what's her name? Emily Blunt. She was really good. And I actually really enjoy Cillian Murphy. So I thought everybody was really good. I thought maybe, if anything, they kind of could have gone anywhere with this one, really.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I like how we ended up in a place where it's like we're taking our big smoking gun from the first movie and kind of amping it up in the second one towards the end, with the goal of that, just help everybody. And I hope that with the third one that comes out, that it would be a continuation of this, and like we just see like maybe the war on the aliens happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like taking back our planet. But yeah, I think that it was well paced. Just like the first one, it was. I think this was a little bit longer, but only like an hour
by like
40.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
It was an hour and 36 minutes.
Okay, yeah. And I really, I don't know that I necessarily have like a lot of bad things to say about it. The sound was good again. I liked how we got to hear in the beginning, like you said, the difference of like what sound would be in this universe, essentially. And I don't know. I kind of want I want a prequel. I want a sequel. I want to learn more about just these alien species themselves. I'm sad that we never even got a name for them.
I want to see them come in from outer space.
Yeah. What are their motives? Like this, other than to just kill. I don't know. I feel like there's something deeper to it. But
yeah.
Yeah, I really liked
an Alien, they didn't really have much of a reason either. They were just killing.
Right?
Yeah.
But I would have to give it a 4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's my boo rating.
That's a good.
Because I gave the first one a 4.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
I'm going to give this one a 4.5. Do you have any fun facts?
I do.
Cool.
The youngest of the Abbott family, son Bo, is played by young actor Cade Woodward in the first film. In the opening flashback scenes of the second movie, Bo is played by Cade's younger brother, Dean Woodward, because he grew too fast, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And they really didn't show his face much. It was all behind. It was the back of his head. On the Big Picture podcast, John Krasinski stated that he originally did not want to be involved in this sequel, like you talked about earlier, but the producer convinced him to come over and pitch his ideas to the studio. After 3 weeks, they asked him to write the story with the idea of the directorial duties would be handed over to the other filmmakers. Krasinski finally offered to come back as director, jokingly suggesting that he was the Jedi mind tricked into signing on to the sequel. The film's budget was 3 times the size of the first film.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty massive. Allows it to be a lot.
Yeah, well, and also to the like the special effects, the aliens. We saw these aliens a lot in like the daytime as opposed to the first movie where we didn't see them as much, and they still didn't look like a sci-fi movie from the Sci-Fi Channel. Whenever like that looks fake as fuck.
Yeah,
like,
no, it looked
really
real.
Yeah,
they did. Wow. When he was finally decided on an idea, John Krasinski was able to write his first draft screenplay in just 3.5 weeks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
People write screenplays for years.
And then last but not least, according to John Krasinski, in the opening town scene, he passes by Brody's Pizzeria, a nod to the character Chief Brody from Spielberg's Jaws.
What a cute little Easter egg.
That is. For me, I think I liked this film maybe about equally. It was really enjoyable. I went into it wondering why you thought higher of it than the first one. And I could see it. Like, as I was watching it, like you said, it was really well paced. A lot of the film, I really enjoyed the storyline that it took and where they made us go, and the fact that we did have to leave the house, because if we had just stayed at the house, then it would have been boring. Yeah. So the fact that we did get out and we went and found more people was the next logical step. And not in a predictable way, but also forced. It didn't feel forced. It wasn't like, oh my God, here we go again kind of thing. It was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. This is what you have to do. This is the logical next step. So I thought that was really cool. I did enjoy, there was less use of silence in this film. Overall, it was a much louder film in comparison to the first one. Yeah. Which more dialogue. Yeah, there's more dialogue. There's more just action in this one overall. More high stakes scenes that required noise. Yeah. And lots of characters getting injured and stuff like that. And so it lent to that. But yeah. It was a really fantastic film. I liked it a lot. I think I would probably give it also a 4.5. Thanks. I liked it equally with the first one. Yeah. Really good, really solid film all around. I loved the little callbacks that it had to the first one in the beginning.
Like the rocket.
Like the rocket. I did enjoy getting to see the town in the day one situation. That was fun. I imagine that the day one film that they're coming out with will be really exciting.
Even more expanded on. Yeah. And it has Lupita Nyong'o and a bunch of other stellar actors.
Pretty good star-loaded cast. So excited to see what that film has to offer. And then I really am excited to see what the next film
sequel
has to offer. Yeah, the third film.
Part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they keep the same family. Like, I hope it follows them.
Oh, it kind of has to.
Right?
If it doesn't, then they fucked up.
Or at least the kids. Maybe Emily Blunt and John's dead, obviously, but maybe Emily Blunt would be like, I'm too busy. I don't know. Maybe not interested anymore. But the kids could definitely, like, we see their direction of, like, leading some sort of, what's the word? Revolution of revolt.
Sorts, yeah. You know, Reagan could really come in and lead some stuff. And she's smart. She's got this shit figured out. So she could do it. Yeah. I hope they'll stay with the same family as well. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
They kill the baby in that one.
Yeah.
It's like 5. Dead.
Oh, that would be sad.
But yeah, that it's giving Prim from
Hunger Games.
But yeah, that is our review and take on The Quiet Place Part 2.
2021's. Yeah, so solid 4.5 from your booze. All the way around.
And you can listen to this podcast and other podcasts and other shows that we created and other shows from Rogue Media Network on their website at roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. And you can also listen to us and all those other amazing podcasts on all the streaming platforms that your little heart desires. But the biggest two would be
Apple
and also Spotify. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right, because that is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And don't forget to use word of mouth and tell your friends about us, because that is the easiest way for us to get
more followers
and on to anything. And we're approaching spooky season. Spooky season.
Come like the spoochy.
Get this spoochy. Yeah, that sounded. But we're approaching spooky season, so get prepared to prepare your ear holes for our month of October, which will do double episodes, 2 episodes a week. Yeah, fun. Can't wait. It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah,
but we can do it.
We got it.
We can do it, and y'all can listen, and it'll be super fun. And next time we'll be covering The Nun?
The Nun. Is it The Nun already? I think so.
I think so.
In preparation of The Nun coming out for The Nun 2.
The Nun 2.
The Nun 2th.
Yes.
I think I don't know where I put that note at, but yes.
Something like that. If not, we'll cover something else and you'll see what it is then, and then just be prepared that we will cover The Nun soon.
And in time for The Nun 2 whenever it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So until next time, you guys.
Until next time. Bye, bays.
Bye, bays.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.